And now it is my very great pleasure to welcome to the stage Barbara Hammer.
Oh, you do my heart good. You do my heart good. You are lovely people, wonderful. Somewhere in the backyard of my mind, a poet sings. She is singing for you. And this book is dedicated to you, to young women artists and old women artists who are aspiring in creating something huge. Yours is the future that I write for. This book covers 4 decades, and it's divided into decades. So I've got the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the thousands. And these are actually the costumes, the outfits that I used to wear. How many of you have seen Super Dyke? 1975. Yay! Obviously, my life has changed, and did change when I came out in 1970. When I made love with a woman for the first time, my entire worldview shifted. I was touching a body much like my own, which heightened all my senses, especially my sense of touch. I got brutal. I locked the editing door, I spent the night, and I cut the lackadaisical footage to shreds, only keeping the core of each image that showed touching. The hour became 2 minutes. I didn't know it then, but Dyke Tactics was the first lesbian lovemaking film to be made by a lesbian. 4 of them, 4 breasts. However, you can tell the aging, there was It's been my own life that I've put on the screen. And by doing so, I make work that partly attempts to fill the dearth of lesbian history for the lesbians of the 21st century. A lesbian artist bursts herself into an undefined space, a space where she finds a lover in the other, a lover that is so close, intimate, and similar that the position of merging and still maintaining a separateness inevitably becomes part of the definition of herself. Double stick. I'd like to do a cartwheel, but I didn't practice, so please excuse me. The slope from breast to waist to hip, the gentle belly curve, and the flow down to the mound, the thick, strong thighs felt through the numerous nerve endings of the fingertips and palms. There are the same holes, movements, or curves, and spatial relationships. The museums of New York City were not ready to screen films like Multiple Orgasm or Dyke Tactics. Writers who felt my films were too soft and touchy-feely. Critics who used the horrible killer moniker, essentialist. Strategically and purposefully, then, I had to temporarily leave New York City for Chicago. I brought with me my optical printer and 10 rolls of Super 8mm film I had shot of my grandmother in a nursing home. Setting up the printer on my kitchen table, I proceeded to work every day after school, making a 16mm film called Optic Nerve. I found the audiences really, really different in their reactions to my film. One woman couldn't stop clapping for Multiple Orgasm. Another said it was the first time she saw a film with her entire body active, not just her mind. One was shocked to see ugly women on the screen. One felt it very unnatural for a nude woman to be climbing a tree in nature. Maybe one way for all of us to learn from each other and see our differences and similarities is by watching our responses to the same piece of art.
What's happening here is that there is joy, there is energy, there's humor, there's great fun, there's exciting things happening here, but many lesbians are poor, they're depressed, the weather is not that great. Chips are awful, right?
The audience is the subject in audience.
Very, very easy to get.
From her touch, she was a flower, a pink and ebulliently tender-petaled wild Berkeley rose that hung from the fence on May Day, and we picked a bouquet to celebrate ourselves, our love, our rebirths. We put them a pink puff fluff next to our bed. Birds singing, she is my love. They sang, she is my love, and my love is awakening, oh hallelujah. Increasing erotic love play, it is moving back and forth and forth and back and back and forth. Again, and I am aware, listening to you, listening for your ever so quiet sounds of pleasure to let me know I am pleasing you, you are there. This is the primitive or original necessity to claim a sense of place through the physicality of filming the walk in bent time, where I take one step for every frame of film as I walk across the nation. In bent time, I seek to avoid entrapment in location by blurring the exits, by blurring and increasing the light in the edits across the spaces, time, and places. In each city, I asked to borrow a Super 8mm camera and round up 10 cartridges of black and white film. By filming empty holes, fractures, broken windows, and burnt out buildings, I could show the processes and result. What was it that we gay and lesbian audiences were erasing ourselves?
They disappear because for whatever reason, lesbians are writing not very many biographies of our own.
When I was a kid, and I've lived at this day where someone is sick and you take them out to the ambulance.
In juxtaposing contemporary footage of lovemaking and archival remnants of history, I engaged the viewer intellectually and required the audience to become the archaeologists of cinema. Nitrate Kisses was born.
I was a very sexy child. You know, we were playing doctors and nurses, school, teachers. I would have crushes on teachers. Oh, unbelievable. In the assembly room, I would, you know, pick out one little girl and, you know, follow her around. It was terrible.
The rigorous intraperitoneal chemotherapy tested me to the very core of my being. The wiser we will be. Ha! That was easy optimism. With age came for me the challenges of illness. In 2006, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, stage 3. The rigorous intraperitoneal chemotherapy tested me to the very core of my being. At first, upon recovery, I thought about it all the time. Thought how lucky I was to be alive. Each day was a gift. I'd walk the streets of New York, I'd go into restaurants, I'd order anything I wanted. Then gradually, little by little, I slipped back into my life habits. Habits of going to my studio in the morning and often staying all day. I had to consciously remind myself of the bigger lesson. People are the most important thing in your life. A film rests in a can until it's screened, but a book can be opened anytime, anywhere, in any country. I thought a book might be a portal to my films. Perhaps my films, a life's work, could reach a new audience through the words and stories of my life. Gorgeous. You are. Every one of you.
Please give a warm thank you to Barbara Hammer.
Let's thank Kyle Stefan. She's the one that brought me here.